everyone.
What's up? What's
If
up?
y'all just tuned in, this is, oh my God, why am I about to call you Raekwon? This is Quan. We call him Quan. When I met him, he told me to call him Quan.
I
But his real
did.
name is Jequan. He is an actor with many credits. Like, I was actually really amazed when I first met you. It was like my second co-star role while it was your maybe like fifth or sixth, I think. Um, but yeah, I mean, why don't you tell us a little bit about your acting background? Because you originally started from, actually, no. Before we get into that,
Okay.
let's talk about procrastination because
Okay.
with
Okay.
all this downtime right now that we're going through with the pandemic and whatnot,
Uh,
like I know I'm not the only one procrastinating. So what
no,
what
that's
are some
me.
things you're procrastinating on right now?
Procrastinating on
In
putting
terms
my
of your career, yeah.
putting my self-tape stuff together. Like my agent has sent me probably three auditions, but whenever she puts the word optional, I'm just like, okay.
Right.
And then a lot of them aren't due like for another month. So a lot of times I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna film the next day. I'm gonna film it on Monday. I'm gonna learn these lines. But it's really hard to kind of get motivated. You really gotta force yourself. So just getting myself together, learning these lines, putting my self-tape stuff up. I only did one since this whole pandemic started, but I probably have three more to do. I'm gonna eliminate those tomorrow. So that's been the biggest procrastination as far as career wise for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, like I've definitely had some self tapes come in that I did not even do because
Yeah.
one, like I high key just don't feel motivated to do it.
Me neither. I'm like, okay. A lot of them, and a lot of them say open casting. I'm just like,
Right.
yeah, I don't
And
know.
and I don't know about you, but me personally, like I know I mean, if we weren't in the pandemic, I feel like I see myself turning certain things down now because like I know what I want to go for. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like, do
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel the same way?
Yeah, not just from the pandemic, but just I think it's like every time you do a role and then you do that role, you're like, all right, cool. What can elevate you to the next level? So then in my
Right.
mind, I started thinking about stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. I've done five co-star roles. I don't want to really do co-star roles anymore. Now I want to go to guest star or like a series
Right.
regular. So I think each point in your life where you like cross off one of the goals that you set for yourself, then you start going, okay, cool. I've done that. That's good. What else can elevate me to the next level and not keep me on that same level of just booking co-star roles and
Right.
that's it. Maybe die in the show like I've done multiple times, but you, I swear to
How
God,
many
every
times
show.
have you died in a show so already? Three?
No, 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 no. I've died two and a half times, two and a half times in a show, and every time like I post something,
Can y'all see it? Hey guys,
it's like
it
he
looks like
dies or something. I didn't even know I died in the FBI.
right.
Like
I didn't
I
know that
literally did
either.
not know that. Like I went in and did the scene for the casting director. They brought us back in for the director, and then they sent us those scripts. I was like, the fuck, I died? Like, why do I gotta keep
Right.
dying all the time? But no, it's you know what? It's a check. It's you're doing your career, and then yeah. But I died two and a half
Right.
times.
Right. That's another thing. I feel like as an actor, like you have to decide whether to do projects for the check or like, is this gonna also elevate my career or like,
Mm-hmm.
I
And
mean,
that's
what? Yeah, yeah. What were you gonna say?
no, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you like, what steps are you taking currently, even though we're in the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
to like not be stuck in like that co-star level? Because there's levels to this shit. In case y'all didn't
Is
know.
levels
There's
to
like
this.
real talk, I didn't
It's
even know there was levels to this shit until I booked like my second co-star role, and I'm like, okay,
there's
this is
levels.
good, but it's like not that good. It's a level
Exactly.
up though.
Yeah, and there's different types of co-star roles. Like we can compare it to the one I had in FBI, where I had like a couple of scenes, and we're just speaking and talking and talking.
Right.
And then the most recent one that I had in New Amsterdam, where for that a lot of the scenes got cut due to the pandemic, and you deal with that as an actor too. People don't
Yeah.
understand a lot of times when you see a show on TV, sometimes that's the actor's first time seeing it as well. Like that's the very first time you see it. So sometimes you don't know what's been cut or what's been added or anything like that. I think a lot of the time for FBI, I knew what was in there because they brought me back in to do ADR, which is audio digital recording, like voiceover work if you mess up a
Okay.
line or something. That's how I saw FBI. Remember I sent it to you? I was like,
Yeah,
Victoria, look
yeah.
at this, look at this, look at this. But like for New Amsterdam, I had a scene and then like things get cut because of the pandemic, episodes get cut. But for me, it now it depends on how many lines the character has. Is he a part of the story? Does he move the story along? Is this going to be an opportunity for me to reoccur on this show? So I don't think if I get offered a role where he's dying or something, I would take it anymore.
Right.
Because I want to be a part of the show. I want to be able to be like,
Right.
hey, yo, bring him back for a couple more episodes, boost him up to a guest star, then probably boost you up to a series regular. When you die on the show, that is the last time you will ever be on that show. If people don't understand, like when you on a show, you accept the contract, you're like, yes, I got a co-star role, but then your character
Period.
dies. Then you can never ever be on the show again in your entire life.
And that's that.
Yeah. What's up,
Um,
everybody? I see some of my friends on here.
yeah, hey, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Victoria. If y'all are coming in from his side, this is my talk show.
Victoria, the most
Um,
talented Victoria.
thank you. So what could you say that like what's keeping you motivated right now during this?
Motivation. Actually, my friend Keith and I, he lives in LA. We're actually writing a short film right now. So I'm doing everything. Yeah.
Ooh!
So we finished writing the short film. We're just going over the pitch and stuff like that. I have a couple of producers that I reached out to on my previous projects. If I can pitch it to them, they were like, "Yeah, send it over my way." So every week we pick something that we want to work on in the script. We pick dates that we ideally want to shoot it, just depending on the pandemic. And we're trying
Yeah,
to get a cast together. We're doing a table read within the next few months, but just being creative. Like a lot of times as actors, you really have to create your own work. And a lot of times when you do these co-star roles, you're not doing roles that you see yourself playing. Like you may do a
right,
little thug role or something, but that's not a role that I see myself playing. So I like to write
right.
what I think I do best in and what I think I perform best in. So writing, mentoring. I have somebody that I mentor and we talk every day. We go over monologues, speaking to my friends who are in the industry, watching your live where you are still staying productive during this
Right.
time. So everybody, all my group is the people that keeps me productive and
Right.
motivated. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned like when you do work for other people, you're playing these roles that you don't really want to play, like a
Yeah.
thug or some shit. Um, I mean, do you feel like that the atmosphere in the industry is changing? Like, are Black folks and people of color getting roles outside of playing just like the thug or the fucking first person that dies in a movie? Like,
No, I do think that it is changing. I think a lot of nowadays there's a lot of leading black men and a leading black people or Mexican people or anybody of color.
right,
They're starting to see that people are putting pressure on that issue. And when people put pressure on something that they want to see, they have to give it to the people because guess who are the people who are buying these movies and going to see these movies are people of color, white people, everybody. So I think
right,
there's pressure that's going into it, and I do see a change. It's a slow change, but I definitely do see a change. But I definitely still see myself going in for these roles. You know what I mean? Going in for these thug roles or going in for these. He's a drug dealer, and it's just like sometimes you just get typecast. Sometimes people see your
yeah,
headshots, they're like, you. I just typecast you. That actually when I signed with my agent just recently, she just saw my picture, and like it was like my old headshots, and she thought she was like, oh, he's this hard person, and we went to dinner. She met me for the very first time, and she goes, you give off such a different energy in person than your picture, or just like judging by a picture, and I'm like, of course I do because you can't tell who I am by my picture. You know what I
right.
mean? So yeah, I still see that. Do you find that a lot as far as like with you um, playing like I don't know like ratchet roles or anything like that? That's just like
You know
something
what's
that's consistent.
crazy? I
But you
mean,
love it. You love it
right,
though.
I want to play
You
the
love
ratchet
ratchet
roles.
roles.
I want to be the baby mama for Baby Boy. You know, I want to be Taraji, but I see whenever I do get called in for those roles, it's like the bully at school, and I'm like, oh, so y'all want me to be the fucking mean black girl from the school? Like, no, that's not what I want to play. Like, I want to play more mature roles, but I think because of like my curly hair, like my smile. even though I love those futures about me, they also play against me in the sense where I do want to play more mature roles, like at least college age. But yeah, I don't know.
Can you
We'll
tell them
we'll
what
see
you
as time goes on. Like we'll
yeah
see, cause now like I have these new headshots, which
are
my
fire
homeboy.
are
Yeah, thank you.
fire.
My homeboy took of me. If y'all need headshots, hit him up. It's rag. Yeah, he took those of me, and this year I've mainly booked commercial work and
Hmm.
been getting called in for commercial work versus like scripted
Other
work.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, damn. Last year it was all scripted work. This year it's all
Hmm.
commercial. I'm not mad at commercials though, because
Commercial people
y'all,
make
commercial,
money. They make money. I was telling my
yo,
agent, I said, get me
commercial.
on commercials. They make so much money on commercials.
Get
So
me
much.
on commercials, bro. So yeah, y'all, if
Be,
y'all watching, commercials gonna be your bread and butter if you're trying to get into acting. Get into commercials. Period.
before we go
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
can you tell them what you said to me when we were on set? It was the first day on set, and we were in our trailers because your trailer was right next to mine, right?
Yeah.
You came to my trailer. You was like, Jequan, you gotta come into my trailer. You said, I got a couch, I got a TV. I said, I do too. Like we both got like. And he was like, yeah, but we just need to chill in my trailer. Like, come to my trailer. I said,
No, because
in
y'all,
that moment, I was like, I love her.
because the first time I did a co-star role, my trailer, like I had a trailer, I was hyped. But the
Mm,
second time I had a co-star role, I had a fucking little hotel
a
room in the
couch.
trailer,
We had
a
a
couch,
bathroom, a TV. You
private
were hyped.
closet, a
Yeah.
shower. I was hyped as fuck.
I was telling my friend that
I
story
was
when you
so
knocked on
hyped.
my trailer and you were just going off. Y'all need to come to my trailer and hang out because
I
I
was
got
trying
a
to have a trailer
couch.
party.
You
Like,
were, you were, you
if
were.
we ever work again, like on a bigger set, like I would dead
Mm,
ass have trailer parties. Everybody would come to my trailer to like,
absolutely. It
cause,
would be lit.
'cause
It would be lit.
that's just my vibe. But aside from all that, I you did mention that you're working with a friend from LA. That's dope. Have you ever like lived and went for acting in another market? Actually, are you still in New York right now?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Okay, okay. You're not
Hmm.
from New York though, right?
No, I'm from DC, Maryland and DC, the
Oh, nice.
DMV. But I've been in New York for,
Hey,
I know, right? I've been in
you
New
gotta
York for
take me
eight
out there
years.
one day.
Come on, we gotta go. I'm
Nah,
ready.
when all this
So
shit is over, we gotta pull up. Okay, so you've been in New York for 8 years?
8 years, yep. I
Oh,
moved when I
dope.
was
Okay.
17. 17 or 18.
Ooh, dope. To
Yeah.
pursue acting.
To pursue acting, yeah. But I
That's
also
dope.
lived in LA before, also in West Hollywood, actually, for a short period of time.
How was that? Like, how was the acting atmosphere out there in comparison to New York?
Um,
I always have to ask this.
yeah, no, I feel that acting in LA is much slower. They're a little bit more relaxed than we are. In New York, it's all about the grind. Like when you're walking in Manhattan, you see people who are actors. You like, oh, they're an actor. They just came from this audition, and everything from New York is kind of like in the same space. Like we're all
Yeah.
like in Midtown. There may be a few auditions in Brooklyn, but mainly Midtown. In LA, everybody's just so spread out. Like you got
Mhm.
to drive, take an Uber to this place, take an Uber to this place, and also in LA, there's just TV and film. Really, like there's theater, but it's not as known as it is here in New York City. So it just depends on the vibe. I will say I will go back out to LA when a project takes me out to LA. That's
Right.
when I will go back out to LA, and I will love to live in LA, but only when a project takes me back out to LA.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, my friend, my bad. My friend that took my headshots actually just commented, it's brag. Y'all, if you need
Oh
headshots or
yes.
any photos, hit him up because he's really good. But damn. So you know why I asked you that? Because people that think they know about acting, they're always like, "Oh, LA is where you want to be. LA
Mm-hmm.
is where you want to be." But every time I go there, granted, I haven't been there for like a month, but I've been there
Um.
for like 2 weeks. I go there and I'm just like not feeling it, and the grind
Mm,
is not as popping as it is in New York. Like I'm
yeah.
over there on Actors Access, Casting Networks, and I don't see things coming in like I do in New York unless
Mm-hmm.
it's like backstage. But you know, backstage is
Oh, I use backstage like I don't know. I haven't used backstage in like five
when you in the
years.
trench. No, I'm kidding.
No, but you know what? It also has to do with the vibe. Like certain people have LA vibes. Sometimes New
Right.
York can be overwhelming for a lot of people. LA is more chill, more relaxed. A lot of the actors either come from LA or New York when you're talking about series regular actors. When you're
Right.
going more so into co-stars or guest stars, they're more so locals, like people who live in that area. So either I think even New York or LA is popping. It just depends on your vibe. I want to get to a point where I'm bi-coastal. So like I'm
Yeah,
six
same.
months in New York, 6 months in LA, and we just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Would
Someone
you say
said,
backstage?
would you,
Okay.
yeah, would you say backstage is becoming out? Wait, hold on. Before we get into that, Malika said, all these LA hoes is fucking. I was trying so hard not to laugh in the middle of this shit. Um, that's a fact though. LA people be doing the most to be getting to where they at. I mean, but that goes for anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so is backstage becoming obsolete? You want to go? You want to take initiative?
Um, it just depends on what you're doing. I think backstage is really popping for theater stuff. I think uh backstage
True.
is popping for short films when you're getting in more so co-stars
Indies.
or indies. But I say for backstage, that's when it's used for short films, commercials. I know my friend booked a Nike commercial off of backstage. So when you're getting into that, I think backstage is fire. But I think actors access is where all the solid stuff goes. And if you do have a manager and agency, they're
They get it
using
separate.
actors access. They go through 2 rounds. It goes through your agency and your management first, and then it comes to us, the actors.
Right.
They don't use backstage. Like I've never had an casting. I'm not a casting. I never had a manager and agent
If
who
you
ever used
ever,
backstage.
if you're watching this and the manager agent you hire says, "Yeah, I'm gonna submit you to backstage,"
I'm gonna be like, I will call you tomorrow. Do not sit.
fire them right away. I just canceled my subscription to Backstage. If you're non-equity and no agent, it's better for Backstage. But if you have an agent, then you don't really need Backstage like that. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
have an
that's true.
agent, you don't need Backstage. I mean,
You don't.
personally, I did hop on Backstage earlier this year because I wanted to get more real footage because I don't
Mm-hmm.
like my reel. So I would say for that, it's really good. It's literally a hit or miss, but it's great for theater. That is a fact. And they post
Yeah,
like a lot of great resources on there for actors
and
as
also, if
well.
you want to snoop on other actors too, I used to do this. This is a long time ago. I really sometimes I used to look on backstage and like if I was going to be in the cast with somebody or if I was going up against them on an audition, I would type in their name on backstage and their profile would come up
Oh,
and I'll
that's
look at
smart.
their reel. I don't know. That's what I used to do. I don't do that no more because I don't have a
That's
backstage.
smart though. No,
But I
that's
used
actually
to.
that's
Yeah.
actually a really good thing to do for yourself. So I mean, if you had to choose at the end of the day, have you ever been to Atlanta?
Yes, I've been to Atlanta. I've never auditioned in Atlanta, but
Same.
I've done a lot of self tapes. A lot of Atlanta is self tapes. It's
Mm,
80% self tapes, and you probably go in person 20% of the time. So it's kind of like a hit or miss with Atlanta. I think it is better to be in New York where you can audition in person. And also, I've been doing tons of self
and
tapes
self tape.
for Atlanta, but I do see myself doing like a TV show or film in Atlanta. And I just need somebody to cast me in that so I can move there, have
Yo,
cheap
same.
behind rent, and live in a nice
Lavish,
fucking apartment.
live
You
lavish. Yo,
pay
I'm not. Nah, nah. I
like you
know.
pay like my friend told me he pays a certain amount, which I pay for rent here, and his apartment is fire. Like it's so nice. A walk-in bathroom, well, not a walk, a big bathroom, a walk-in closet, a full living room. Like I was like, how much do you pay? He told me I was like, that's crazy. I need to
a
go to
hundred
Atlanta.
dollars. Nah,
Yeah,
that's the same
not a
thing.
hundred
My
dollars.
my
Not a hundred
compared to
dollars.
New York,
That's true.
like $1,000, $100 in Atlanta is like $1,000.
Somebody said, let your work market yourself. That is absolutely correct.
That's a fact.
It doesn't
That's my
matter where you
homie
at. Oh yeah.
Jonathan. My homie from Atlanta just hopped on. Hey, Jabri. We're talking about Atlanta right
And
now.
he's about to put us on the blast.
What's up,
From Atlanta.
Kiara? No, but deadass, my cousin has a nice ass apartment in Atlanta, and
Mm.
the rent she pays
It's
is
ridiculous. And
a
she has a big
fraction.
ass place, nice ass neighborhood. I guarantee you.
Gated community, parking, pool, jacuzzi, gym, all that. all that lavish shit that we all trying to get out here in
We
New
need to
York.
stop talking about Atlanta. I'm getting upset.
I was
I'm
actually thinking of moving out there. I'm not gonna
No,
hold.
you can't move out there. We need you in New York.
I know I'm such a New York
You're a New
mommy.
York
Like
baddie.
I don't know if I think I'm a die. I don't know. We ain't gonna talk about me though. This about you. This about you. So what would you say is your dream role?
Oh wow. My dream role.
Hey, PP. Or my
I don't is to be a superhero, like a black superhero.
Oh my
A
God, me
black
too.
superhero. I want to have guns. I want to have powers. I want to
Yo,
be jumping out of cars, and I want to do my own stunts.
same.
Well, some of
Yo,
them, the things I can do. Because
I do
remember, I
my
did my
own
own
stuff
stunts on
secretary with
FBI.
it.
Yes, remember FBI? I did my own stunts. I was like, I want to do my own
Yes,
stunts. I want to be a black superhero, kicking ass, getting messed up. I want all that.
me too. I didn't know you wanted that. That's literally
Oh
my
yeah,
goal. Like to be like I don't really want to be Storm. I talked about it in my yesterday's life. I want to be
your mom just called you.
wait, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I want to be a superhero as well. Do you put any like time frames on the goals that you set for yourself, or do you just let things
No, I am not. For me, I'm not really a patient person. I know people who say have patience, like those who have patience, things come to you. I don't have patience. I put urgency on a lot of things that I do. I have patience when I audition. I put in the energy to go in the room, get stuff sorted out, and then I have patience on like waiting for an answer back. But when it comes to like going after something, anything that I can do to speed up the time or eliminate my goal that I've set forth, I will do. Like I don't, I'm
right?
not one to sit back and go, things are gonna come to me when they come. I get it. I'm just not that person. My friend Lewis is on. What's up, Lewis? But literally, I'm just not that person. Like for me, I like to be a go getter. When I have something in my mind, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. What
And
else
that's
can we do to make
honestly
it
the
happen?
best way to go about it. Like if you want to
Yeah,
do anything in your life, do everything you can to make it happen because that's just you aligning yourself with the reality that you want for your life. And the more you're working toward it,
yeah.
the more you're raising your frequency to be with that. What's the one experience you can share with us that you remember that you thought you were about to have your like breakthrough moment or
Oh,
like just get to the next level?
this is hard. I gotta make sure nobody on this project I'm about to talk about. So I did audition for an HBO show last year. It's coming out this year. I'm not gonna say the name of it. I did it, and I was in the process. I was filming for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So they were like, "Hey, can you come and audition?" I was like, "All right, bet." I went into audition. Didn't think nothing of the audition. No, I self taped. I self taped, and then when I got home, and then probably 2 weeks later, they were like, "Hey, the people from HBO want you to come in for a callback." I was like, okay, callback. All right, that's fine. I go in for a callback. Probably 2 weeks later, they bring me in for a third callback. And these are casting directors from LA. They flew to New York. And I was like, hold up, what is this for again? Series regular on a new HBO show. It was just like he was somewhat in the military. That's all I would say. So, anyways, I went in for my third audition. My agent texts me the next day, and she was like, "Yo, they're sending your stuff to the producers and the directors. They pinned you for the role." I mean, a lot of people that don't know, being pinned for the role, that means they're highly considering you for the role. So I was like, I was out drinking with my friends. I was like, what? I just got pinned for an HBO role. She goes, I'll be in contact. She calls me that night and was like, Jequan, they're flying you out to Hollywood on Monday. This was a Friday. I said, they're flying me out where? She's like, to Hollywood. They put me up in the Hollywood Roosevelt. I had car service. Like the man was standing outside with my name and I got in the car. He was just driving. Like he was like, I was the driver of Britney Spears, all these people. I was like, oh,
That's
okay.
so lit.
Like that's fire. So I show up to Hollywood. I'm getting ready. I'm thinking I have to go over all my lines. Like I go over all my lines and stuff like that. And then I get into the room. I get to the studio. It's on a set. So they were filming the Netflix one of the Netflix shows, but the casting director's casting office is on a set. So I go in and they're like, "Oh, you're Jequan Jackson." I was like, you go into these auditions room, you gotta tell
Yeah.
them who you are. I'm like, I'm Jequan. You know what I mean? You gotta tell them. So she was like, "I saw all your audition tapes. It's so nice to meet you." And I'm just like, what? Why are you? I'm essentially like not anybody. I'm not like famous. So I
Right.
was like, all right, cool. Like, I guess. So I go in there. She's like, you have to do your slate again. She told me my first name and last name. She was like, and your height is this, as if I didn't know. So, anyways, we go in just to have a meeting with the director, the casting director, and the producers. We're sitting there. They're like, thank you for coming all the way out to Hollywood. I was like, thank you so much. It was like, what have you been doing? And at the time, there was a Hooters right beside my hotel. I love chicken wings. So I was like, I just went to Hooters or whatnot. And they were like, okay. And we started talking about chicken wings for 10 minutes. And we just in this meeting. After that, they were like, okay, cool. Have an extra 2 days in Hollywood. Flew me out to New York, back to New York. And then my agent hit me up. They was like, they really loved you, but they went with somebody else. At the time, it was a celebrity who was there at the audition. It was a couple of celebrities that was there. I was like, you guys flew me out to Hollywood to go against these celebrities. Like, I was
Right.
like, oh, that's cool because you never know what happens. You never know.
You
And
know
when I
what?
tell you, huh?
No, finish, finish, finish.
No, I was like, when I tell you it was like celebrities that were there, that was like, I had to keep my composure. I was like, focus, focus. You have one
Right.
job here, one job. And then that happened. For some reason, somebody turned the role down. They reached back out to us with
Oh
questions
boy.
now on certain situations, whether it was nudity or whether it was some other stuff. And I went back to my agent and I was like, listen, what is the reason behind this nudity? I mean, like everything. Like, I'm not opposed to doing it, but there needs to be a reason why I'm doing it. Like, I'm not just about to do it just to do it. Like, is it going to move the story? What is it going to do? Like, all that stuff goes through my head. And I told her what I would kind of require or what you know what I mean, to go about that situation. And then I found out I didn't get it, which is cool. For that, it was the best experience that I've ever had in my entire life thus
Right.
far. Like the best, getting flown out to Hollywood to meet the actual producers of HBO, the casting director who casts for everything. It was experience. I came back. I wrote on my mirror before I left. I was like, no matter what happened, you fucked that up. Like, no, fucked it up in a good way. Like, you did good.
Oh,
Not fucked it
oh,
up. That
I'm
was
like,
bad.
why were you so
I
hard
no,
on
you kill. Oh, no, no,
yourself?
no. I said no matter what happened, you killed that shit. That's what was on my mirror. I was like, and I got back. I read the post that I wrote to myself in my mirror, and I was like, it's cool. They know who I am. The next week, she brought me
Right.
in for like another big audition. But that was the biggest one that I still think about. And I was just talking to my friend about this the other day. That I was just like, dang, that's crazy. But it's about the experience. Like that whole situation was like an experience that was beyond amazing. That's stuff you hear about. People are like, oh, I got flown out to Hollywood. I met with the producers. I'm like, oh, okay, this must be like a TV
Right.
show. Like, no, that actually happened. So, in the eyes of your agency and management, they're like, whoa, like this person is a important part to my agency. My management, I hope they're not on this right now, my agency, was calling me like we were best friends. Jequan, did your car pick you up? How are you doing? We don't even
Right.
talk like that. It's very professional. But like we were like, she was my
Right.
home girl. She's like, yeah, I'm at the call casting right now. She's up here calling me all the time. I'm like, why is my manager calling me every 10 minutes? But
Right.
it switches the mindsets for your representatives, like your reps. They're like, oh, this is like he's the real, like not the real deal,
Right.
but he's able to hold the attention of these big producers. And then they start acting different in a way because they wrote up a contract. It showed how much I was going to get paid, all this stuff. And
Wow.
my agencies were my best friends. I was like, okay.
Are
So
they still,
we
do
still
they,
get to,
do y'all still have the same like relationship now that they
yeah,
know that you're like, you can obtain these types
that,
of auditions? You have the
yeah.
talent, the
My
potential to actually
manager,
get them.
yeah, I've been with my manager for 6 years now. And we have been through, she's like my home dog. Like we've been through arguments together. We've been on contracts that I've gotten offered that I didn't want to do, or contracts that I did want to do and she didn't want me to do. We got into full blown arguments, but she is kind of like a second mom to me, like an industry mom. I just think it's very important to establish not just a professional relationship with your representatives, your reps. You need to form like some type of personal connection. They
Yeah.
need to know who you are. Like if you're always giving off this professional vibe, that's all they know. Like I allow
Yeah.
them to get to know me personally. We get to know each other on a personal level, cuss, talk crap, and that's when they really start to fight for you because they feel more attached to you, or they feel
Right.
as though they like you as a person in your character. So yeah, gotta watch this.
That's my aunt told me.
She said she's being great. She
Thank
giving us
you.
a full scoop.
Thank you,
But yeah, that's
Cece.
what I would say will be that moment.
My aunt is the weather lady in Miami, y'all. So if y'all live in
Come on, weather
Florida,
lady.
she's the weather lady in Miami. Betty
How this
Davis.
fucking song?
I don't
Betty
know if she's
Davis.
working though because of the pandemic, but yo, that's a dope ass story, and congrats on almost getting something that big for yourself. I'm sure the opportunity at this point is
What?
right around the corner.
Yeah,
And you got
that's
the
how I felt
talent. This man right here is talented as fuck. Like I don't even have to pull up any like proof of that. You have talent. I do like this is actually going longer than anticipated. Let me just make sure I don't have any. Oh, let's just get into this because it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Okay.
Like we said before, there's like levels to this acting scheme, and there's
Mm.
levels to the types of agents that you get. So, I mean, what was your experience like finding the agent that you have now that you've been with for 6 years?
Yeah.
And I think after you get your like major role, you'll capture the attention of bigger agents
Mm-hmm.
and agencies. So obviously you're not going to be with her forever, but what was that experience like
Don't
for
say that.
you?
She gonna drop me. Um, she's like, oh, he's gonna be
I'm
with me
sorry.
forever. Um, ask the last part one more time. Sorry. What's your question?
Um, just what was your experience like finding an
Oh,
agent,
finding the
the
agent.
agent that you have now? Excuse me, my dog.
So for me, my first agent and manager was when I was 16. And a lot of times when you're 16, you don't know as much as everybody else who's been in the industry for a very long time. So it was a long time where I was being forced to do stuff, and I didn't have that understanding with my reps. So they would tell me what to do, and if I denied it, they made me feel bad. If I declined an audition, they were like, "Well, you're not working hard enough." So it felt as though I was working for them.
Right.
And then I reached 18 and I was like, no, like I've been paying you money. I book a lot, so you get money. It's time for me to have a voice. So I dropped them. I was like, I don't want to be with you guys anymore. So
Wow, I'd never
oh
heard of an actor. It's my first time hearing
oh
someone
I
actually drop their agent.
oh I dropped them. I said I wrote them a letter. I said thank you for your time. And then my next agent, what I did was I looked where I was in my career, and I looked at someone who had clients that was doing a little bit more than I was, or on the same level, nothing below that. And I found my manager, and we had a deep conversation. I said, people need to understand when you're looking for an agency, you guys are working together. She's not
Yeah,
working for you. You're not working for her. This is your career at the end of the day. So if anybody who has a final say so, it's yourself. And that's when you need to understand the difference between a professional conversation and a personal conversation. Because sometimes when you get too personal with people, they think they can just say anything to you. But then you have to switch it up. But like, no, this is my career. This is what I need. So I told her, I said, I'm looking for someone who's willing to work with me and to jump on my team. I'm a very ambitious person, and I need someone who works as hard as I do. Your management, your reps should work as hard as you do. You know what I mean? So if you don't
that
feel that energy, and they should really be a fan of your work. Your reps should be a fan of your work. If they're not a fan of your work, or they're not convinced that you're talented or have a spark in you, why do you have me? You know what I mean? Why do you have me? And a lot of my manager told me a lot of times people bring you on as a spot holder. They may have somebody in their agency that looks like you that they don't want you to be better than or book over them. So they'll take you in just to be a placeholder. So that way that other person who's kind of like the same type as you will succeed. So you need to look at the reps clientele. You need to look what they're going to bring to the table. Are they going to work hard? Because when you get these checks, you're paying them 10%. They get you
right.
auditions. You get yourself the job. That's all agencies do. Get you auditions. It's your job to book the job. It's not their job to book you it.
Book the
It's their
job.
job to
Yeah.
get you into the room. So it is just make sure somebody's on the same mindset as you and that's willing to work as hard as you. Nobody should work as hard as yourself, but they need to come close to it.
Right. Meaning,
Yeah.
and their type of working hard is them pushing you for
Mm-hmm.
auditions, pushing you for the types of roles that you want to do if you've discussed that with them, and them constantly submitting you for shit that's not going to be a waste of time. That was great advice. Actually, the best advice I've heard from another actor. I do want
Oh,
to get
thank you.
to the questions that came in. As an
Oh yeah.
actor, how do you like to be treated, handled by your director?
I believe strongly in respect. No matter how high you are up, there needs to be a level of respect that you have for someone. And sometimes it's not good to get in confrontations, but there is a way to handle situations professionally by letting people know they can't run over you, but you can be very direct. You can say,
Right.
what is it exactly that you want? What do you want me to do? How can I make this better? It is important for your director to be happy with your work because at the end of the day, like when you're trying to get cast in your next project, they sit at a table and they'll go, I want Victoria because this director loved how you acted or how nice you were on set or how good you did. But at the same time, you need to let them know that you are serious about your work. So at the end of the day, you want this piece or this character that you're portraying to be the best that it can be. And you guys are working together, but you definitely want to make sure there's respect. Like no one's disrespecting you because then people can walk over you. It's very important to set that level of respect and be very direct with somebody professionally. Then they'll go, oh crap, okay, okay. I know how to approach him now. I know how to speak to him now. And any of the situations that I've been in like that, we became best friends at the end of the project. Like if I've ever gotten into some type of confrontation with a director or choreographer, we were best friends at the end because we respect each other.
Right.
At the end of
And
the day, yeah.
that's something I admire by you, and I actually wrote that in our description of this post. Um, on set when I worked with you on FBI, which was an amazing day, by the way, or
It was
days. It was so much
amazing.
fun. You were so respectful to everyone. And I actually read this in a book by Lily Singh, which is like her memoir, biography, whatever. How she, whenever she works with people on set, she literally greets every single person
Everybody.
in the crew. And that's something I noticed you do, or you did that day. And I literally, I was in awe at like how you carried
Yeah.
yourself on set. Like I was taking notes. Even though I knew to do these things, I guess it's just me being shy, my first time really being on
Yeah.
like a real set where I have like more than one
Hmm.
line and shit. But the way like watching you definitely showed me how I should carry myself. So
Oh, that's really
I,
sweet. It's
that's what I wanted to
important.
do on my show. Yeah, no, what
It's
you're
really
saying is
important.
fact.
You don't
Like it's
never
so,
you never know even from your PA from as low as not low but as from a production assistant like when we have PAs on set our assistants you don't know where these people are going to be at and it's not you're not being nice to
exactly.
people because of how they may affect your future it's you're giving people respect because like if you want respect you have to give respect at the end of the day to anybody and everybody I've seen people come on set and just be so rude to people like they did
Yeah.
nothing to them. It's because they're a series regular or guest star or co-starring, and they're like, "Can you give me my water? Can you give me my coffee?" It's just like for me, I don't vibe with those actors. I'm like, if I see the coffee, like we have Crafty a block away, I'll go get it myself. Like you know what I mean? Like though that's
I'll
some
just
people's
send
job.
someone. No.
I know you would send someone. No, it just depends. Not all the time. I will send someone, but I will do it in a way where I make it a mission to really connect with my assistant or connect with the people on set. Whether it's giving somebody a hug or saying, "Hey, what's
Yeah.
up?" to somebody, even the background people. When we were in that club scene,
Yeah.
250 people, and we, you know what I mean. We're sitting upstairs in our chairs, and people just sitting around. Like I took
Yeah.
that time to connect with people because I once upon a time I did do a background role, and all I wanted to do was speak to like the
To the other
co-stars. I wanted to
actors.
know
Yeah.
how they did what they did, like how they got to a point where they got to where they gotten to. And so
Same.
it was a lot of people when we were on FBI was like, hey, how did you guys do this? And I went out of my way, like, I'm not wasting any energy. We literally we were on set chilling. Sometimes we were just bored. Make new friends, connect
We
with
were in
people.
the
Like
same boat as them,
we were
waiting
in the same
around. Like,
waiting around. Like I mean, we were just in our chairs. They were like chilling
right,
around. Like it's no difference. Like you can work with a background person. You can do one co-star role. That background person is now gonna be your series regular, and you're just guest starring on their show. So they're gonna remember how you treated them because you were like the star of the show then, and that's how it's gonna be. And that's in for
right,
theater too. Like that's to go back to theater also. But just treat everybody nice. Just
right.
be
I wanted to
yourself.
talk more about your theater career, but my bad.
Okay.
The conversation went another route. It's okay. Someone asked,
Sure.
but I'm also producing a short film right now. How has COVID affected your project's pre-production?
It hasn't. Pre-production is just you guys are talking. You have people that you may know that you connect with. Um, it affects setting a date, but it gives you more time for perfection. You feel
Yeah,
me? So though it's pushed back, it gives me more time to that line doesn't make sense. Let me switch that line. I want to switch this. It gives you more time to perfect things. That's how I look at it. And then once you have everything perfected, you set a date. The date is nothing. You know what I mean?
right.
Everybody's ready. So it doesn't really affect it right now, to be honest.
So this is gonna be my last question for you.
Okay.
So as actors, it's important to, well, I mean, you tell me what you think. Is it important to have a survival job?
It is important. I will say I did not get my first ever survival job until last year, um, because I was going back and forth between theater and TV. So I could find that income, but it is
Okay, so
important.
and theater
You
pays
know,
well, low key, like,
theater
but I
pays well,
but you
but
work
it is
more.
important. It is important because your financial state needs to be figured out before you go on an audition. Because guess what? When you do an audition, that stuff is gonna be in your head. I remember when I had my survivor job, I was catering, and I was like, "Shit, I don't know if I'm gonna make enough money for rent." So when I did go in these auditions, that's all I thought about. I was like, I can't pay. I don't know. I'm gonna pay my bills. Like, I need this job. You
Right.
really, every time you go into this audition,
Lord
you
Jesus.
you're doing, yeah. You're not loosening up. You're being more stiff because you're like, I need this. I need this
Yeah.
money, and you are bummed out when you don't get it. Whereas when you have your financial state set out, your rent is paid, you can just be easy. Like the one I did for HBO, I didn't. I mean, I took that audition serious, but I was just like, you know what? This is another self tape number 45. Let me just be myself and just loosen up because I was not depending on that project as a financial income. So all of
Right.
that stuff, what happens in your personal life affects your mental, and you need to get that figured out before you even go back into an audition room or really try to like figure out stuff in general.
What kind of jobs do you think work for actors though? Because I personally struggled with this
Hmm.
for years. It literally wasn't until this year that I found a really good job that was paying me really good money, flexible,
Hmm.
and well, now it's gone. So now
Mine's too.
I'm trying to master making money from home. But
Yeah.
um, what jobs are out there for us? What do you recommend? I mean, I have
I
my
say
opinions, but
fine. It depends on where you're at. In New York, a lot of people are used to people who are actors, so they're very flexible. But find someone who's going to be flexible for you. Catering, a lot of restaurant gigs are popping. If you're a customer service person where you know that they will be flexible with you, then do that. You have to be honest up front. I go into an interview, I'm like, look, I'm an actor. I really want this job, but I do need someone who's going to be flexible with me. Like, if you guys like me and you guys are
Coke
willing to
dealer.
be, oh, what happened? Oh, Coke dealer. Let's not,
Fact.
let's not
I've
suggest
highly
that.
considered it. I've highly considered it multiple times.
That's
No, you're
funny.
right
Just
though,
something
because
that's
this is
flexible.
my experience with being upfront from the jump hasn't been well though. I'm not gonna hold you. Like it's really not easy to be upfront, even with restaurant jobs. Like, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
that's
also
true.
just me and my energy. Like I really just don't do well working with
But you
people
know
on
what?
my fucking ass.
You can use that to like your acting. Like people are very fascinated sometimes. Like if you sit
Someone
in
said
front of
Uber, Uber,
somebody, Uber is good if you got a car.
Uber
If
is
you live in New
good. Yeah.
York, listen, you better do
Uber Eats.
Grubhub, get on that bike and start pedaling.
I heard LA
Um,
motherfuckers really be coming up on the delivery stuff.
they do on that bike. But it just depends, to be honest. When I was being in my interview, like we established a personal connection. I'm all about personal connections. That's that wine, y'all. That's all about personal connections and be like, yeah, like they're like, what do you do like for fun? I'm like, I'm an actor, so I done this, and I'm like, all right,
Right.
cool. And then you just connect with them. Like you take yourself out of
Yeah.
that. You have to loosen people up. Like if you go and y'all both like stiff and you guys are asking people these questions, people are like, okay, I'll see you later. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, oh yeah, I love this place. It's super dope. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, what do you
Take it till
do?
you make
I
it.
oh yeah. Oh my god. If you're an actor, you better act the fuck out of these interviews. I
Interviews,
think any
facts.
actor should be able to book a regular job. Like that is an audition. You just acting. They're like, have you ever bust this many tables before? I'm like, absolutely. Never bust a
Yeah.
table in my life. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I will figure that out once I get the job. I be lying all the
No,
time though. That's on my like my work like regular
I'd
cadence
be
though.
lying on my resume too,
I
but
worked on
honestly,
this. I worked at this job. No, I just need a
me
job.
personally, I'm not looking as of right now. I'm not looking for jobs anymore.
Oh no no no. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's not. I'm chilling.
You still have your
But
job, the one that
oh
you
no no
had?
no. I literally got done with that job in January. Because I had these other projects coming up, so financially I was like all set. I was like, oh, I just need to focus this year. And then I took the time to focus. I got New Amsterdam, and then Corona happened. And I
Yeah.
had stuff lined up, like two other TV shows I was going to do, and they were like, "We're cutting the rest of the season." I said, "Okay, that's fine,
Have
that's
you
cool."
lied on your acting resume?
I've never lied on my acting resume because I've seen that come to bite people in the butt. Like people say, "I've done this," they will hit up that director, that theater, and that person's like, "No, I no, you've never done. No, he's never done that," and he just don't get the job. Like your talent can be phenomenal, but you just lied on your
Right.
resume. My acting resume, I have never lied on it. It may be two things when I first started. I will have those two things, and then call it a
If
wrap.
anything, you could lie about your no, dead ass, you could
Victoria,
lie about
lie about what?
the classes you
Oh, the
take.
classes you've taken.
So
I mean,
I've
listen, if you taking
spiced
the class
out
one
a bit.
time, if you take a class one time,
Pretend you took it for
I
four
did it.
years.
I did it. I took this class one time. This is my acting coach. This is my acting teacher.
Have you
Book me.
tried Zoom classes, like acting classes online?
No, not. I'm just more of an in-person energy type person.
Same.
So Zoom, I feel a disconnect, and I don't feel as though you're seeing what I really need you to see. My body language, or how I'm going to get, how I'm going, acting a scene out, whatever the case may be. I'm not a fan of online acting, but it's not a bad thing. Like some
Right.
people love it, some people connect, some people vibe. It's just a preference. Like as an actor, I don't like online acting classes, but other people love them. They prefer that instead because it helps you with self tapes. Like what do you do for self tape? You stand in front of a camera.
Right.
So it's a
Me
preference.
me personally, I don't think I never tried the online like class thing, but
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about it. But if I had to like practice for a self tape or something, or I'm on a film and have to practice, like obviously I'm gonna do that if that's the only option, you know. So in
Yeah.
that aspect, I guess it is useful. But that's all the questions I have for you. This was definitely longer than anticipated, but I ain't mad at it because it was a good combo.
This was
Thank you.
amazing. I love this.
Yeah,
I love
me
what you're doing.
too.
You're staying productive. I told you I love your background. It's
Thank you.
amazing. I
Thank
actually had I have this cloud, y'all. Look at that.
Ooh,
So another thing I've
okay.
been doing, staying productive,
YouTuber vibe.
I redid my entire room. Like got rid of all my furniture, redid everything to stay productive.
Would you do a highly sexual role? Um, I would later in my career.
Yeah. I think every
Later in my
actor has to
career.
do a freaking
Yeah, I think
sexual
it's gonna
scene.
happen. So yeah,
Are you
great
scared?
job.
Would you be nervous?
Um, yeah, cause I'd be watching
What if
that
you like
shit. I'd be watching Insecure. Have you been watching Insecure?
not really, but I
Okay.
do love that show.
Well, that show there's a lot of sex this season. There's a
Oh
lot of sex,
yeah.
and I'd be watching that shit like, oh my god, how am I gonna do that one day?
Boomerang on
How do
BET
they?
also.
I haven't
I don't know if
watched
you've seen
that.
Boomerang. That show is dope. But they have a lot of sexual scenes in that show. I was like, all right, cool. We gotta get
Power
ready.
too. And I used to want to be
Start.
on Power so bad, but they
Oh,
they're
Power. Oh,
still
that's the first episode. They just out. Flying.
We do gotta
They
get
out.
ready. Sorry, I'm mad late, but do you guys ever feel intimidated by other actors who are trained? Hell yeah, I do. I don't feel intimidated. I feel more inspired. Like, damn, I'm trying to be on that level.
That
Like,
yeah. I definitely am inspired and motivated, but I never
mhm.
feel intimidated by it because I think when I used to be in theater, I've seen a lot of people who were like vocalists who were like stretching their legs up, and then you get into the audition room, they can hit the 1, 2, 3, 4, but not the 5, 6, 7, 8. So, and
Right,
they went to Juilliard. So,
right.
like, I'm inspired by their work and their motivation, and I definitely take note, but I'm not intimidated by it.
My mom just gave us a thumbs up. Hey,
I
mom.
saw your mom; she's beautiful.
I
I see a
bet you
little
you
dot.
just tuned in, mom, because you
Mm-hmm.
definitely called me. I'm gonna call you
Inspired and
back after
motivated,
this.
never intimidated. That's facts.
Back.
Don't ever be
Yes.
intimidated by anybody, y'all.
Wish you both the best. Gotta catch the finale of Empire. Empire is still. I
Tonight,
thought
I haven't watched that show in a long time. I've
me
a few
neither.
episodes.
All right. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Juan. This was
you.
definitely my up there top two faves interviews that I've done thus far.
What? Thank you. I
Hey,
appreciate that. It was fun. I like this. Keep
yes.
doing good. Keep your head up. Cause you listen. I'm so excited to see you on a fucking another TV show. I'm so excited. You are.
Yo,
People don't
honestly
understand
though,
how funny you are.
I have not been like practicing. I need to practice. Like I can't even do a good accent anymore. I feel like because I just been so
I'm bad at
focused
accents too. I'm not even gonna lie. I suck
on
at accents.
on this shit. But all right, I'm out of here. If you want, we could still talk. You know, just hit me
We
up.
Of course. You got my number. I got your number.
Yes.
Your
All right,
number, your
love.
name. Hold on, your name in my phone is still Victoria. Put that on period. That you put on my show. I mean, my phone on set. I was like, who is it, Miss Victoria? All right, y'all. Thank
Oh,
you
get
so
my
much,
ratchet ass
Victoria. I
out of here. All
appreciate you.
right. Love you. Thank you. Peace.
Love you too. Bye bye.